Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Actually, afternoon. Mary and Jay and Kelly and Karen. I'm so glad that you could join me. I'm surprised that I have anybody watching. It is such a gorgeous day out today, and it looks like the weather forecast is going to be just awful for the rest of compared to this last week. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Sarah Simon. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I'm so excited to be here this afternoon. Thank you for those of you that are joining in, even though I'm in the afternoon. I've had a busy morning. I only had one card done when I went to bed last night. So I woke up early this morning and designed the other two. And then I had a card buffet. And then I had to quickly write all the dimensions down for the last two cards that I did and got on here just in time. I had to grab a few products that I had used in my card buffet that I needed for this. And so I think I have everything, hopefully. You know, when I have those card buffets, sometimes it's like, I think I have everything, and then I get started and it's like, where is that? So good afternoon, Barbara and Linda and Karen Cars. Thank you guys all. And Melanie, thanks for coming on. I wanted to, one of the reasons that I didn't have my cards done, my job yesterday, one of the things that I had to do all day yesterday at my job required me to be very, very creative all day. And so by the time I got home last night, had my card buffet last night, and the last people left at like 9 o'clock, I just was not creative anymore. So I decided it was better to get some sleep and then be creative this morning. I wanted to share with you, this is some happy mail that I received. It was a thank you. Look at how beautiful that is with that Petal Park. I think that's what it's called, in Sentiment Park. This is from Sandy Calloway, and she was thanking me. She was hostess, and she ended up getting all of her stuff. She actually signed on to be a demonstrator under me during Celebration, and so it was a thank you note for that. Thank you for joining my team. And then we have prizes to give away. So last week, we made this fun fold that opens up like this, and then it opens up this way. And I have to admit, I do not have the directions done yet. I'm going to walk Lila after this because she's had to wait all day to go for a walk. I can't say that too loud because she'll go nuts. She'll think we're going right now. And I've been dressed in my going for a walk clothes all day today and my going for a walk shoes. And so she really thinks that we're supposed to be going for a walk. So anyway, after that, I plan to type up the directions for this and the ones from last week because I don't have, I have a stamp club to get ready for next week, but I don't have anything tomorrow that I have to get ready for. Then our second card that we made was this fun fold, and it opens up like that. Okay, and it slides back in place just like that. Whoops, I don't have it completely slid in because I wasn't looking at it. And then we made this layout where we used a piece of paper and designer series paper, we crisscrossed, cut it, and made this thinking of you. So receiving these for commenting last week. So anytime you place a comment here, or I have been looking at Facebook too, because some of you have been sharing on Facebook, so I've been kind of cross doing all of that, is Annette Dubois, I think is how you pronounce it. And I don't have your address, Annette. So if you could private message me either on Facebook, or my email is createwithsarahllc@gmail.com. That would be awesome. Hello, Betty. Melanie, good directions later today would be great. Yes, I promise I will get the directions. It's been on my to-do list all week, and I've had some sort of a meeting or dinner with friends or something like that every single night this week, and I thought I was going to get more done on Monday on my day off, but I ended up visiting my aunt in Green Bay, and we went out to lunch and did all of that kind of stuff. So I didn't get as much done on my day off, but that's okay. It's good to see family too. Then for sharing, where did my prize go? I had it. Oh, here it is. It got buried. Receiving some of these new gems that are in the new catalog. They're adhesive backed gems, and they're the copper clay, the boho blue, and the lemon lolly. For sharing, whether you shared on YouTube or Facebook, I took all of that into account, is Amanda Shabo. So Amanda, I will be getting these in the mail to you. Thank you all who shared and made comments and just kind of spread the love of my business. So I am going to go ahead and flip the camera, and we're going to pray really, really hard that nobody calls me this afternoon, because I think that it tells me as soon as I go into ManyCam, it says do not disturb. But anytime I seem to get a call, it seems to disconnect me. So hopefully that won't happen today. So I am going to flip over. Our first card that we are going to make is going to be our stamp, ink, and paper card. So I'm only using stamp, ink, paper, and this one I'm using some punches, but those don't count because I don't need a die cutting machine or anything like that for it. So we're going to say goodbye to So Saffron. You could have done this card with Daffodil Delight if you wanted to. Mary, oh, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, Mary. 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored this at 4 1/4. Okay, so this is So Saffron. This is going away, but we're getting Lemon Lolly in place of it, and Lemon Lolly is absolutely beautiful. All right, this is some Blackberry Bliss. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. That is not going away. This paper will be going away. This was a host. Like, you had to spend $150 in order to qualify for this, or you had to be a hostess and the party had to be at least $150. So this measures 4.5 by 3.5, and together we're going to cut this into 3 strips that measure 1.5 by 3.5, and we'll do that cutting together. I have an inside layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece for my envelope, and I have a piece for the inside that's 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. All right, I'm going to go ahead. This one is super, super simple. I'll bring my trimmer in and show you how to do that cutting. I'm going to actually turn off my overhead light. I tend to have more shadows. I know you're getting the reflection of my lights that I have over the top, but I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to get away from that because you need to have light. Okay, so each of these is going to be cut into 1.5. So I had 4.5. So if I cut it into 3 1.5s, that's exactly what I'll need for this. Okay, and I want to keep these in order so that they kind of line up like that. So I'm going to put first, middle, and last. Okay, let me get my trimmer out of the way for now. We aren't going to bring that back later, I don't think. Yeah, we are going to bring that back later for a card that we're working on. Okay, to do some stamping, I'm using the Celebrating You. I thought that this was still in stock, but it is not. But you could use, you just need greetings for this one. And you need something for a label, whether that be a punch, something that you die cut, something that you cut out yourself. It's entirely up to you what you want to use. I decided I wanted to use this Mother's Day, and then You Are Every Bit of Wonderful to go with it. Because Mother's Day is just around the corner. So I have some scraps. I have some scraps of So Saffron, and I have a scrap of Blackberry Bliss. And what I'm going to do is stamp that Happy Mother's Day in Blackberry Bliss. And this is just on a scrap piece of paper that I'm... All right, and then on this white layer, we are going to stamp the You Are Every Bit of Wonderful, because aren't moms every bit of wonderful? Oh, mine is, I know that. Okay, so that is going to go there. The only other stamping that I'm going to do is I took out some of the So Saffron, and this is a floral image that is, looks like I got a dimensional stuck on there too. This is from the Art in Bloom, maybe? I don't remember what it's called. Here, I have it right here. True Beauty. Sorry, True Beauty. I just took this image right here because I thought it kind of went along with some of the floral images that were in this paper. Good afternoon, Sandy. Good afternoon, Kay. All right, and I'm just going to stamp that. So you can hardly see that, but it at least gives me some of the floral image that's on there. And I think I'm going to actually stamp that up in the corner too, just to give it a little bit of something. I didn't do that on my sample, but I can make it any way I want, right? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put these stamps away. Put the stamp sets away. And we're gonna go ahead and build this card. All right, I have to punch out the Happy Mother's Day, and I'm punching this out in the 2-inch punch. That's on the online exclusive. Now, those might not be, I think they're not available right now, but they're coming back in stock. Okay, so if they're not there right now, just know that they are coming back. And then this is our decorative circle, and a 2-inch circle fits very nice right in the center of that. Look at how that looks. Very cool. All right, now we're ready to put this all together. I'm going to put that in there. All right, so we have our strips, and I put them in the order that I needed them. And all I'm going to do is position them on here. So cutting them apart and putting them on this layer, layering them on this Blackberry Bliss, just adds a little something to just having a plain piece of paper. So I'm actually participating. I haven't been able to watch any of the lives because I have had my own stamp club this weekend. So, but I'm participating in an online retreat with some demonstrators who are some, $1 million ones that have like a little bit bigger business than I have going on. And they always give some great ideas. And one of the ideas that they had for a card was just doing this simple layout. And I thought, this is going to be my stamp, ink, and paper. I'm going to use my own take on it. But I'm going to use their idea of just taking some designer series paper and cutting it into these strips. So I didn't cut that little strip out there. I just made sure that my piece of paper was the size that I needed to. So it was 4.5, and then I cut those all in 1.5, and that fit perfectly on then this 5-inch width piece. All right, this is going to be our inside, and we're going to add just a little bit of that paper along the bottom as well, just to get that, carry that into the inside. Oops, I got disconnected again. Sorry, ladies. I'll be with you as quickly as I can. Somebody must have called me. There we go, we're back. All right, sorry about that. I have to figure that out, because you would think if somebody puts their phone on Do Not Disturb that it wouldn't knock out of the program that you're in. And I only have it going to Do Not Disturb when I'm in this program. So maybe I have to change the setting. Maybe I don't have to turn the Do Not Disturb on, and then maybe I won't get disconnected. I have no idea. But I'm back. Thank you for all of you who said that you shared. I appreciate that. Okay, so there's our pretty inside of our card. Now, before I set this down, what I wanted to do, and I did not look either if this ribbon, I think this ribbon might be sold out as well, so I apologize for that. This is a combination pack of ribbon. It had some Sahara sand and I don't know if this is mossy meadow or old olive. But this is what I decided to use on this because I thought it looked nice with this paper. And I'm just going to tie this in a bow. And I should have, yeah, now that I know how long I need it to be, I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and I'm going to redo that a little bit. I wasn't able to do it real tight because it was attached to the paper, and I'm going to have it just a little bit over to the left because I want my label to go over to the right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of have my label straddle the ribbon, if that makes sense. I'm going to put dimensionals on either side. Let's see here. That doesn't look good. Why do I give myself on a Saturday afternoon having to tie a ribbon live on TV? Let's see here. Let's see if we can get it again. I think I had one of them twisted, so let's see if we can get it untwisted this time. There we go. There we are. Much better. Just give these a little pull. Make them a little smaller. I don't want the loops real big, so I make the loops smaller. Then once I make them smaller, then I pull it again. That'll make them a little bit bigger. And if I want to make them smaller, I just keep pulling on this a little bit till it's the size that I want. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the tails. And now I'm going to use some dimensionals, and I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Because it has that big ribbon going through it, I figured it would be easier to put this up on dimensionals than it would be to put it down with some glue. I could have wrapped the ribbon around and just taped it and tied a knot as well. If you're not a person that likes to tie bows, we could do that as well. I'm also going to take a glue dot. I like to secure my bows right behind the knot. I usually put a little glue dot to hold it in place. And if you need to, like if this doesn't want to lay right, you could always add just a little bit more of a glue dot on either side. It seems to be laying okay right now, so I'm just going to leave it alone. All right, we're going to go ahead and attach this 2-inch circle with our greeting onto the decorative circle punch. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the top of the ribbon and the bottom of that ribbon, because I don't want to have my dimensionals fall on the ribbon. It'll get kind of lopsided then. And then we'll just put our Happy Mother's Day. There we go. Simple as that. Now, I do have some of these gems. I forgot what the name of them are, but they're retiring, and I think they might be gone too, unfortunately. A lot of the stuff that was marked way down tended to go pretty fast. I'm going to just put one there. And we'll put one down there, and then maybe a bigger one over there. Okay, so there is a easy layout that doesn't require you to have any sort of a die cutting machine or anything like that. It's just stamp, ink, papers, and I used a couple of punches. But even if you don't have these punches, you could cut out some rectangles, or you could cut out some squares and put your greetings and just layer it on there if you wanted to. Instead of having the designer paper, if you wanted to be able to use, if you wanted to emboss something, you could emboss layers and do that as well. Okay, my scissors is right in front of me. I'm like, where did my scissors go? It's not in where it's supposed to be. But I forgot that I had used it. This is supposed to be my ribbon scissors, but we're cheating and cutting paper here. That's why my ribbon scissors never stays really nice, because I'm always cheating. All right, there is our first card, our Happy Mother's Day card. All right, I will go ahead and clean up what I have here and pop this all. I'm going to put these in here so that I know that goes with it. I'll get this in my garbage. And we will go on to card number 2, which card number 2 is a fun fold. And you do need a die cutting machine. In fact, I'm going to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out and show you how to do this fun fold that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be using the Friendly Gnomes, and these are still available. I checked today because I made this one today. That was the one that I made last night. These are the ones that I made this morning. So this set is available. I'm also pairing it with 2 of our designer papers that are retiring, but are still both available. So we've got a card base. This is Mint Macaron, and Mint Macaron is still, the paper is still available. I didn't look at the ink, but the paper was still available. Thank you for all of you that said that you liked the last card. I appreciate that. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4, and then I also scored it at 2 1/8. Okay, so that's going to be our card base. This is going to be for our envelope. Put that over there. And then I have the Country Lane. I don't know what it's called. I would have to go look to be sure. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and this was still available as well. And this is some of that Country Gingham. And this is the Petal Pink. And I have 2 strips here that are 1 7/8 inch by 5 1/4. Okay. And then I did cut, this is from the second to largest of the Stylish Shapes, the square. So it has the stitching around it. I have 2 of them that are in Mint Macaron, and I did 1 in the Petal Pink. You could do all 3 of them in the same thing if you really wanted to. And then I have 3 squares that I cut at 2 5/8 by 2 5/8 because I found that fit just perfectly so that you could still see the stitching around that square, but that the white was there. So those were 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. All right, let me grab all of those off of there. We have to, before we're going to do any of our cutting, before I bring my my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in, we do have to layer this up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this one back. And because it is a fun fold, again, I like to make sure all my cards are folded well, but especially when you're doing a fun fold, you want to make sure that you have a really, really good burnish on this. Okay, our 2 layers, and I have to put this on first. This is going to be my gingham, and this right here is going to be that. I thought that these went really nice together. Now, I could have used the hearts that are on the back of this. I don't think hearts necessarily have to be Valentine's Day. This is going to be a birthday card that we're going to be making with the gnomes. So I did a Mother's Day and I have 2 birthday cards. I don't know about you, but May is a crazy, crazy month in our family for birthdays. It seems like there are so many birthdays, and not even my family and my friends. I have a lot of friends that have made birthdays, a couple of co-workers, and I have a sister-in-law whose birthday is in May. Mother's Day is in May. So it's just kind of one of those crazy months where there's a lot going on. So I thought to have a couple of cute birthday cards on file or ready to go would be handy. So I'm just attaching this DSP into each of these sections, and notice it's all on the same side. And if you need to check, just fold it back. You want to make sure that the outside is, and then when you open it up, we see this and we see that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and apply all of that first. Now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I wanted to show you how I did this and not just have it done for you. Plus, you have to have the paper on before you can do this. So let me see here. I got a mess. Let's move this. I can't do this one with the little one, so I got to bring in the big machine. Melanie's birthday's in May. Yeah, there's a lot of birthdays, I feel like, in May. Plus, you got, like I said, you got Mother's Day and stuff in there, too. Now, where did my die go? Here it is. I knew I put it in there. So I took that stylish, so it's a stitched square die, and I measured and marked off where the halfway point is because I want to cut only half of this square out of here. So what I'm going to do is I need to cut just a half of this. Okay, so I don't want this folded either. I want this to be open. Let me put all my pieces in here. So the way that you're going to do this is you're going to line up on this first score line. You're going to line up where those lines are so that you have only half of the square. Now I want it to be up a little bit instead of down in the middle because I don't want to try to center it. When I center it and then it's not centered, it looks awful. So I'd rather be up and make it look like it's obviously supposed to be up. Now, I only want to cut this half. I don't want to cut that half. So what I do is I take and I'm going to put my plate so that it only goes up to that halfway point, up to that score line. I can't put my plate back here or it's going to cut this back here. Okay, so I'm going to line up my plate right there and slide that in. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to push this in actually and set it down here. It's just a little bit easier for me to do it this way. Okay, so I've got those lined up on that score line. I'm going to bring my plate in. See, I'm taking it from the back and I'm going to line it up with that score line. Now, if you go a little bit over, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you don't want to cut the whole thing. And of course, I have my handle on the wrong side. Did anyone else see that? Okay. So I went ahead and I cut that. And now I have like a little, whoops, let me get this out of here so you can see it. I don't need that anymore. We have a little flip-flop. This is going to flip and flop once we get this score line. We have to get this so that it's reinforced. That's what we have these for. We're going to go ahead and put this down in there to reinforce that so it does actually flip and flop when we open it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and this square is going to go right on top of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my adhesive right there. And I'm just going to slide that square right into what we just cut. Okay. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do that same thing right here. I'm going to have that square, but I only want this to be attached. No, I can attach it to the whole thing. I can attach it. I have to remember what I can attach to and what I cannot. You can put glue on this whole thing. And that is just going to be layered on there. And then just for something different, instead of doing the mint macaron over here, I thought I would do the petal pink on this side instead. Okay, so to get this so that it matches up and I'm putting it in the correct spot on here, what I like to do is to go ahead and put glue on it on the back. I'm going to lay the front part onto this mint macaron square, and then I'm just going to close my card. And if I close my card, it's going to be exactly where I need it to be so that it gets covered up. Okay, see how that kind of just flaps like that? Ooh, fun. I know, I thought it was fun. Now, we have to do some stamping, and I need a scrap paper here. I didn't get that ready for myself before I started, so let me just grab that. There we go. All right, I have some squares. On each of these squares, we're going to put something just a little bit different using some of the stamps from that Gnome set. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my blends that I'm going to have. We're going to do some coloring. And I'm going to start with a greeting that doesn't come from this set, but it comes from the warm welcome set, and it just says, "It's your day." So I have to stand up when I do this because I have to look over the top of my camera, otherwise my head will be in it. So I'm just going to put "It's your day" right there. There are these really pretty flowers that I'm going to put underneath it. And then I thought it would be really cute to put in this little gnome that has the little flowers in its beard. Okay, and then between that grass and the gnome, or the flower and the gnome, I'm just going to put a little bit of grass along the bottom here to fill in. Okay, that's going to be my front. Then, so that's going to go here. When I open it, I wanted to have something right there. So what I'm going to put there is, "There's gnome one better than you." Okay, and I wanted to fancy this up a little bit as well. So we're going to put some of those flowers over here. And then there's this cute little squirrel that I'm going to put down there. And again, I'm going to take some of those blades of grass, and we're just going to put some of that in between and on either end. So it looks like it's on the ground. All right, then we have our inside, so right in here. And for that, I'm going to take my flower again. This time I'm going to stamp it to the right. I'm going to actually bring it down a little bit. And we're going to use the greeting that says, "Wishing you the most magical of birthdays." And we're going to put that right up there so that we still have a place to sign it. Now, there's a lot of greetings in here, so there's less that you have to write. All right, so if you don't like to have to write anything and you just want to be able to, like here, I can just write "Love, Sarah and Lila," and I can send it out. And well, if it's going to my sister-in-law, because Lila would be sending her something. Okay, now we have to do some coloring of all of these little squares. So I took a light mint macaron, and with the light mint macaron, I colored the hat of my gnome. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in. That's the only thing that I did with the light mint macaron. I didn't do a ton of blending on this card. I basically just did straight out coloring. If you wanted to do some blending, you could take the dark mint macaron and you could color in like where some of the lines are that the artist put in. All right, then let's go ahead and we're going to do a lot with our petal pink. So I've got our petal pink. Let's color in all of these flowers, and this is the dark petal pink that I used. And again, I just decided to use one color for all of these, and use the colors that were in the designer series paper. If you wanted to make this more colorful and do these all different colors, you could go ahead and do that. It's your card. You could do whatever you want. I just decided with the DSP that I was using, and I'm also going to use, he's got like a little jacket of some sort on. So I'm going to color that in Petal Pink as well. Okay, and I'm going to do the other flowers. So like I said, if you like more color to yours, I decided I'm just going to pull the colors that are in the designer series paper, and I'm just going to play with those and just be done with it, because there's, you know, you could make this as colorful and as beautiful as you wanted to. I still think mine's going to turn out beautiful. I liked it. I thought it was cute. All right, so that's all that I'm doing in Petal Pink. I do have some of the Ivory, which is kind of a skin tone, and I'm just going to do his nose in that. And I'm going to do his hands, and I left his face and his beard white. That's all I did with that. Going by colors here. The light crumb cake is going to be the body of our little squirrel. And then his tail is going to be the dark crumb cake. Make sure I like to use the bullet point instead of the brush. When I do my coloring, I feel like I have more control over it. And I just kind of color in small circles to color everything in. And I'm also going to do his shoes. Come back over here and get his shoes in that. This is dark crumb cake. Okay, and then I have the dark mint macaron. And I'm going to do all of the stems and the leaves from the flower in the dark mint macaron. And I colored in all the petals, and then I came and I kind of traced each of the stems just to add a little bit more of that green. Okay, and we've got 3 of those. And I could have colored this all in, but I wanted you to see that it really doesn't take that long to color all of this in. And there are some really fun stamps in this set other than just the gnomes. So the little squirrel adds a little something. There's a little bird as well. I was going to put the little bird on this last one, but I needed to kind of leave a space where I could sign my name. And then the little pieces of grass that I had, I didn't put any on there. You could if you wanted to. I'm doing this in a light mossy meadow because the background color of this paper is actually mossy meadow. So I'm just making that. I just felt like it needed some different shades of green in there. And so I pulled out the other color that was in there and did that. We'll color that in over here. Now if you wanted to, you could mix some of the blades of grass with the mint macaron and some with the mossy meadow. I just did all of them with mossy meadow. All right, and now we're ready to add these. Whoops, I ended up getting a gold bow there somehow. We're going to go ahead and add these. So this is going to be on the front of our card. It's your day. All right. There's no one better than you. So that's what you would kind of tell somebody if you were writing a message, right? Is how special they are and that they're awesome. And then wishing you the most magical of birthdays. Okay, so this is the front. And then we open it up and we get even more, and that little flapper thing happens there with our card, which is kind of fun. I brought in some of the champagne rhinestones. I did not look to see if these were left because these are retiring. And I just put them in the center of the flowers that are on the beard, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. Whoops, I have 2 of them there. I don't need 2 of them. There we go. So that just adds a little bit of sparkle to it. And then you can open that up. And what a cute little birthday card to send to somebody. Especially if you know it's somebody who loves gnomes. Some people, it's kind of a love or hate thing, I think, with gnomes. I'm like, I don't care one way or another. I think they're cute. I don't feel like I have to have my whole garden filled with them or anything, but there are some people that just go nuts over gnomes, and then there are some that just say, ugh, I can't stand gnomes at all. So which are you? I can take them, leave them. They're cute. So if you don't like this, you could always do this with any little animal. You could do it with flowers. You could do this layout with pretty much anything, this fun fold with pretty much anything. So I'm going to go ahead and trim around my envelope. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Sandy. I'm just kind of catching up on the comments as I'm trying to. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so there is our fun little gnome card. And we'll add that to our other ones the other one that we did. And we have one more sneak peek card that comes to you from product that is in this. Now, I cannot open this up. I can only show you the cover. I can show you things that I actually purchased. And so this is the stamp set that we're going to be using. So beautiful balloons. Oh, thanks, Mary. Beautiful balloons. And it has these fun dies that also go with it. Now, this thing right here, I was going to use this little like streamers coming down from the balloon. However, I'm using some of the smaller balloons and it was a little bit too big. They also have a stamp that stamps this, which is a little bit smaller, and they have a die that cuts that out. I did stamp it and attach it, and I felt like it was still just a little bit big. There's this fun tag that has some stars and confetti that is cut out around the sides. This leaves like a little lines on it that you could put on your card. We are just basically going to be using the balloons and one of the greetings on it. And I just wanted to start playing. I am in a swap where I have to use some of the new core colors. So the core colors are those 40 colors, the neutrals, the regals, the brights, and the what is the other one called? Like the pastel-y colors. The oh my gosh, I don't know, I can't think of it right now. It's like the soft colors. Anyway, those 40 colors are our core colors, and then we have the 10 in colors that go with it. Okay, this one I'm going to bring my trimmer back in again to show you. So we're going to be using some of the paper that goes, this is the bright and beautiful. So this has a lot of those new core colors. So we're going to be using some lemon lime twist. This is the Azure Afternoon. And yeah, so let me just flip through these so you can kind of see. So here is one side. So we've got just some paper that's, okay, and then if we flip it over, we've got a bunch of like fun stuff as well. So a lot of different birthday subtles. Thank you, Barbara. You know, why can't I think of things when I'm... and Karen, you all chimed in. I knew somebody would. Thank you very much. I am going to need a chamois for this because we're going to use those balloons. Okay, so we're using some Azure Afternoon, which is, I think I'm saying that correct. I was saying Azure, and then I'm like, no, I think it's Azure. 4¼ by 11. I'm scoring it at 5.5, and we're going to do some cutting on this. From the score line, we're going to cut down 1.5 and then 1.5 again to get some pieces that we'll be using. I have some basic white that'll be my inside, which is 4 by 5.25. And then this piece right here is 4 by 2.25. I have 2 of the patterns with the stars, 2 of these that measure 4 by 1.25. I have a little strip that's a 1/2 inch by 4. And then this is for our envelope. Look at how fun that is. I think that's Misty Moonlight. Ooh, fun. All right, let's go ahead. I have some scraps here of white, and we are going to stamp some of those balloons. All right, so let's go ahead and get out some Berry Burst. I'm so excited this is back. Love this color. Okay, so I'm going to ink up one of our balloons in Berry Burst. Okay, I'm also going to do a Berry Burst. Ooh, that's really, really bright. I might have to, spread some of that. You know, sometimes the ink pools on the top. I might have to. There we go. We got 2 of those. I'm going to clean this off. Love our chamois. I like to pat it kind of on my clothes a little bit too, just to make sure it's dry. And on our scrap, we're going to do an Azure Afternoon as well. Okay, and then I'm going to keep this out because we're going to do a greeting. Let's do our greeting right here. Now for this, I have to be over as far as I can to the left. It's going to be kind of like a little peekaboo type thing. So I do have to make sure that like that B of the birthday is about as far as I can get over there. Okay, and then the other color that I decided I wanted to bring in with this, so we've got the Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst. How about a little lemon lime twist? Oh, love it. Okay, so I'm going to do the littler balloon and the lemon lime twist. And there were these little stars. I'm actually going to take this off so that I can see this, and I'll put that back on. And I just wanted to, since I used star paper, I thought to put some of those little stars underneath the happy birthday would be fun. Okay, I'm going to clean this off, pull this off, and pull our string back on. And the other string I'm going to pull out after we do some cutting, but for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add it right away. So our inside is done. Okay, so that's going to be the inside of our card. All right, I am done with stamps. Let me bring my trimmer in to show you what we're going to do. Not done with stamps. I got to do a couple more strings yet. Okay, so I'm going to line up the score line at where it's 1.5. Now there is a line that comes down here, so I know that even though I can't see the 1.5 marking up here, I want my score line to be on where this line is because that's 1.5. And I'm going to actually cut there. Okay, then I'm going to cut 1.5 again. And then I'm going to use this as well. So I'm going to use these two pieces in my card, but they're going to be used differently. Some of you maybe know where I'm going with this already because it's a pretty popular fold. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that really well. We're going to add some of those stars. Here we go. And I'm also going to add some of that star paper to that other 1.5 inch piece that we cut. Oh, Julie, you're not a fan of the gnomes. There are a lot of people who are not, that are just like, oh, I can't stand the gnomes at all. So, yeah, you can make a cute card, but still be like, it's not something that I would make because I wouldn't spend the money on the gnomes. I kind of was that way at first when the gnomes came out, as like, yeah, don't have to have them. But I knew I had a couple of customers who really liked the gnomes, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet, and we're going to get them. All right, this lemon lime twist paper. So this is some of the designer paper, but I wanted one of the sides that was a little more muted rather than as busy as that was, so that my balloons would really stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that to this paper, to the piece that we cut off. Okay. And then we do have dies that will cut out. Remember how bright that looked when I first stamped it? Look at how when it dries, it doesn't look as bad as it did when it was first stamped. I was going to say, gosh, when I stamp mine, they look so good. So we do have a die that will cut out this tiny balloon, and we have one that will cut out each of these. And through the magic of TV, you know that I have that done already. So let me go ahead and see if I can get them out of my bag. My fingers don't want to work here. There we go. I'll put these in there so that I can cut them out afterwards and use them so that I can have another card. I'm making these I had made this for a swap, so I can go ahead and use these for the rest of the cards that I have to make for my swap. All right, I wanted to layer the balloons. So I'm going to put like the blue one, and then the pink one, and then we're going to do the green one up here. All right, they're just going to kind of be like that. I'm going to put some strings on those as well. And so what I'm going to do is I want my blue string to be a little bit longer. So it's going to be covered with this green one. So I'm just going to bring it down, even though it's not attached to where it is, it's going to be covered by this green. So you're not going to be able to see that it's not attached. Do you get that? All right. And then this one, I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to let's go ahead and put these on. I'm going to put these on with some dimensionals. If I can find where I put my dimensionals, I have some here. I don't know where I did. I had a big sheet of dimensionals. I must have put them in one of the bins, is what I'm guessing. Okay, so the blue one I can put dimensionals anywhere. I have to be careful with the pink one because I want that to overlap, so I can only put dimensionals on the left-hand side. And if you want to, you could just like put a dab of glue there where it's going to rest up against the blue balloon. Okay, and then again, I have to look to see where this is going to be. I'm going to have this come about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do a string for that one. It's okay that they're all kind of coming together because I'm going to put a ribbon there that that. So that's going to go about right there. So I probably only want a dimensional about right here, and a little bit of glue right there to go against the other balloons that are there. Isn't that a pretty color combination? I just love that. Okay, now what we need to do is we have to make our card, because this isn't, none of this is attached. So what you want to do is you want to line up along the bottom. So this edge right here, this corner and that corner are going to line up with the bottom corners. Actually, you know what? Let's put our inside in first, because we're going to need to see how far over we can put this next piece so that it doesn't block that happy birthday too much. Okay, so again, we're going to line this up with the bottom and the bottom. So my two corners are matched up. I'm going to fold this in, and this is going to go right here. Okay, so I can only add glue to the top and to the bottom of it. So I'm going to make sure that this is set in place here, that it's straight when I do this. Just going to add a little strip of glue. And you could use, if you wanted to, sticky strip if you wanted to, or this tear and tape. I'm going to stand up so I can get this straight. I'm going to hold this down, hold that down. Make sure I'm getting this straight, and about the same amount on the top and on the bottom. So there is our card that opens up like that. Okay, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to add some glimmer to those balloons carefully. Make sure that I don't bring any pink over to the green one. And then same thing when I go ahead and do the blue one. Okay, for those of you at home who don't know what Wink of Stella is just some glitter that I'm adding to these. And the other thing that I'm going to do, I'll do it, you don't have to watch me do this. I promise me I'll do it, because you can't even see that on TV. But I also added some glimmer to some of the stars as well. Okay, then we have some lemon lime twist. This comes in a combo pack in the new catalog. It's lemon lime twist, and then the other one is petal pink, and it's also kind of a smaller ribbon. And we're just going to tie a bow that a little bit twisted. Let's see if I can get it straightened. There we go. We're going to trim. I'm going to let this just a little bit longer. And we're going to take a glue dot, and where those strings kind of came together, I purposely didn't want them coming straight down. I kind of wanted them all coming together, so that where they came together, we could put this little bow to kind of tie that all together. So there is our birthday card, using some of the new colors and using some of the new product. What do you think of that color combination? Yeah, this could work, like you said, Kay, this could work for any age. You could give this to a little kid. You could give this to a man. You might want to, if you're giving it to a guy, maybe take some black baker's twine and tie it together with black baker's twine so it looks more like string rather than ribbon. But even this little ribbon isn't going to hurt giving that to a guy. You could give it to somebody of any age and it would work. So it's one of those nice cards to have in your stash of cards, so that if all of a sudden you forget that it's somebody's birthday, all of a sudden you can just pull that out and you can be like, oh, there we go, we got a card ready. for that birthday. All right. I have a couple more swaps that I have to do as well. I have to do this one and one other one. And that one I have to use those particular set. And whoops, this is supposed to go in here. Almost forgot. I just wanted to bring some of the stars into the inside of that as well. There we go. So how fun is that? Some of the new colors. I liked this combination. I just basically pulled some of the colors that were in here, and then I really wanted it to be bright. And so I kind of looked to see, I pulled the Azure Afternoon out first because I really wanted to try playing with that to see how I liked that. And then from there, Lemon Lime Twist is one of my favorites, and I always loved Berry Burst and Lemon Lime Twist together. So that's kind of how this card came to be with the colors. There's Misty Moonlight in there. There is Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. A lot of the new core colors that either returned or are new are in this paper. All right, so here is our last birthday card that we did, which was our little sneak peek. We did our gnome birthday card, but fun fold. So if you don't like the gnomes, you at least learned how to make this fun fold that you could do with something else. And then we had our really clean and simple card, Mother's Day, where we're just taking some designer paper, cutting it apart, and making it into a really quick and easy card, but very beautiful. So I hope that there was something in there today that spoke to you and that you think will help you in your stamping. Oh, I'm back. All right, not too bad. Just a little bit over an hour. We did pretty good today. I will be back at my normal time. Let me think. Next week. Yes, I will be back at my normal time next week, which for those of you that are new to me is 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do for the summer because I am up north quite often in the summer on the weekends, and I don't want to drag everything up north, and I don't want to stay home and have to do a Facebook Live and then go up there afterwards. And so I have been doing Tuesdays in the summer, wondering how that works for people, or the other option might be a Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday would be days that I would have free during the week. Let me know what you think of that and a start time on that. I'm thinking I usually started at about 6:30. I could do 6:30. I could do a little bit later at 7. So if people had kids' sports that they have to run after and they think they'll be home a little bit later, I could do that. Or I could do earlier than 6:30 too. So let me know what you think about a summertime. Where am I located, Julie? I am in Appleton, Wisconsin. So I'm going to turn this light off. That's kind of annoying. There we go. That's better. I am in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is just south of Green Bay. Any other questions that I missed? I don't think so. Once again, if you are Annette, I think it's pronounced Dubois maybe, I need your address so I can send you the prizes that you won for commenting last week. So thank you for all of you who commented. If you share, you also get put into a drawing for prizes. And yeah. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to sign off here, and I will see you again next Saturday. Same location, just a different time at 8:30 a.m. Have a great week and a wonderful weekend.